Okay, we're good. I think I'll do without.
All right.
So how are you?
I'm okay, actually. I haven't been sleeping well, so after this channeling, I'm gonna go settle down and just like relax a little bit so that I don't catch anything. You know, when you're vulnerable, there's
Yeah.
space for stuff to invade you. So
Yeah, absolutely. I too had a week of like not sleeping too much. So I went to bed really early yesterday actually because of that. And so I feel you. I don't know what it is.
it's the times they are
Mhm.
they are changing.
They are changing. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
just, yeah, all we can do is just listen to ourselves in the moment and do what feels best, and things work themselves out, you know?
Of course. Of course.
So, yeah, but all is well. All is
Good.
well.
Good. Okay, so you instruct me. Have,
Essentially, we'll play by ear. We can just have a conversation. You can ask a question. I can just channel if, I mean, it's up to you. If you want to, you know, if you have a personal question or just like an general existential question, I can channel the answer. It's really up to you, like how you want to do it, or if you would just prefer we have like a conversation about like what's going on and see what comes up for the both of us.
sure, yeah. I can lead in with something that has been coming up for me. I've just been really exploring this idea. Like I do card pulls for myself every day, and lately, all of this week, I've been getting the card truth, 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 truth. And I have very much in this week been tapping into like, what is my truth? How do I own my truth? And how do I express my truth in my mission work? And it just keeps coming back to this truth piece. And so if I were to ask a question or, give us a drop in the ocean for us to work with, it would be, the idea of fully taking ownership of our truth, and for myself, in what ways can I be assisted in taking full ownership of my truth when it comes to my mission work and things like that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So let's go see what's there.
Sure.
Truth.
Truth. Yeah.
It's good. That's very good. Because I've been it's been this truth thing, and like, you know, living from your higher self and trying to be as authentic as possible has really been brewing within me too. And in the past few channelings, I have to admit that it's been I think it's a collective theme. Like people want to know more, like what does this all really mean? And you know, with all the fake news out there, people are like looking for a truth. And
Yeah.
so I think it's and I think it needs to, you know, come up in collective consciousness so that we can, you know, move past it and see.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's a good topic. All right.
Yeah, totally.
So what I'm getting is that first and foremost, truth is subjective, actually. Everybody has their own version of the truth. Mm-hmm. And whatever they feel that is really true for them really is. And so it's always about coming back to yourself, coming back to the present moment, and coming back to what you really desire or what you really want. And yeah, so what's coming up again is, and it's been coming up in the last few channelings, which is to focus on your ideal. And so that ideal can be love, that ideal can be feelings of peace and feelings of joy. And the truth, your truth, and your version of the truth comes out of acting on your highest excitement to the best of your ability of the ideas that pattern themselves through you from infinite intelligence when you focus on your ideal. Mm-hmm. And so if your mission is to, for example, my mission, one of my missions is to help people get beyond their limited conditioning. And so my ideal, what I love to focus on, is having these leading edge conversations, is bringing the information down, sometimes complex information, bringing it down simply for somebody that they get to understand and feel what I'm saying, and they have epiphanies or aha moments and stuff like that. And so that's my ideal. And the way that it patterns itself through me is through guided meditations, different scripts, and also channelings. But also it patterns itself through me, through my daily experiences. And so I have a ongoing communication with the universe and with my higher self through books or through pattern numbers or mirrored numbers, like it's 1551 or it's 222, or I'll have a question and I'll be like, I'll get an inspiration, I'll get an idea to go look into a book and open it to a certain page, and there will be my answer. And so all of these ideas that I experience and experiment with are ways for me to get to those aha moments or those leading edge conversations for myself, and at the same time gives me examples of what I can present to others for that, so that others can use as tools to help themselves to find ideas that concur or pattern from their ideals. And so it always comes down to, you know, the 5 laws of the universe, which is you exist, everything is here and now, the all is the one is the all, you get back what you put out, and the 5th law is everything changes except the first 4 laws. And so the 2nd law is everything is here and now. And so you can finding your truth in every moment is following your highest excitement, or the option that feels most joyous for you in the present moment, and to follow that thread of joy and excitement, because you're trying as best as you can to always have your focus on your ideal, which is perhaps peace, love, you know, for me, leading edge conversations, and so on and so forth. And so every time I focus on that, all of my ideas or my thoughts in the moment, when I keep that bigger picture, will lead me to experiencing my ideas and experiencing, therefore, my ideal through my actions. And so that's why truth is subjective and to each his own, because everybody has perhaps different smaller ideals, but, you know, inherently or universally, we all have one big ideal, which is the perfect or the most aligned expression of our non-physical self through this physical, unique experience body. And so ultimately our goal is, and that's what life is all about, it's not necessarily having a purpose in life, but that life is the purpose of expressing our truths and our joy in every moment to the best that we can, uniquely from our perspective, from what we, the impulses that we get from non-physical.
Absolutely.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was really nice. Yeah.
And I really like what you said about It just brought up again this idea of the drop in the water and then the ripple effect, how the focus on the truth and the ideal is like the drop, and through that we get that patterning, which is the ripple, and then that leads us into like all these different pockets, you know, of experience and trails of information, and also the idea that truth is something that's not that is meant to be brought into every moment of our lives, not like just what seems to be quote unquote the important stuff, but everything.
Yeah. Because it's the small things that build up to the big things, right? Yeah. And so it's like the momentum of the law of attraction and of the universe of, you know, you get back what you put out. Mm-hmm. And so in every moment, if you take the time to, you know, stand back from yourself a little bit and, you know, what are my options at the moment, and what is it that feels best for me? Mm-hmm. And only because it feels best and I want to have a joyous experience rather than doing something out of resentment or frustration or obligation. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember reading in this book, I don't remember where it was, but that I think they were like the Greek philosophers would ask each other, you know, what's your version of the truth? Mm-hmm. And what's your version of this idea? And that's how they would philosophize and exchange different ideas and different perspectives. So mm-hmm. It wasn't about righteousness or trying to pull or push your way, push your conversation in a certain fashion, but it was to, you know, express yourself and then listen to other people express themselves and find either the commonalities and the synchronicities, or, you know, just being able to see something that you don't agree with, but from a different point of view. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. And that's so satisfying, rather than, you know, because this universe is inclusive. So rather than trying to push or pull and to take something out of somebody in this way of looking at things, it just keeps adding to the whole rather than taking something away. And because everything exists, there's no taking something away. And that, you know, it goes to the visualization of this stuff. We're saying, you know, make sure that you know what you really want and focus on that, and not focus on the lack of what you want. For example, money. Mm-hmm. You know, I want more money, but I don't have enough money, but, you know, nobody has enough money, and the only people that are making money are the crooked people, and they're making money by selling drugs or, you know, whatever. And when you focus on that, you know, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get to experience more people that you feel that don't deserve this money, or, you know, if you're judging people that have money, you know, you're going to get more situations where you see people where you feel that they don't deserve the money that they have, rather than fixing your own ideals or ideas towards money, and then, you know, making sure that that's what you really want, and then going for that. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the only the thing I was going to share also is that, you know, you linked the thread of like the starting point of truth and ideal, and then through into aligned action, which I think is also really helpful, and also again brings to mind like the justice card, which came up last time I was with you. You know, Libra. Yeah. So that I find is also very an important thing to just kind of cement and work with and go by, you know?
Yeah. A lot of us are, and a lot of us are obviously still in the sort of rat race where they feel that they have to sacrifice or compromise in order to get what they want. And so, for example, rather than just focusing on the ideal and trusting that the universe will yield whatever it is that they need, and then they need only to act upon that which makes them joyous to experience that ideal. They take it upon themselves and sort of use the ego to try to push and pull towards what it is that they want, and then they manifest something that's perhaps not 100% of what it is that they wanted, and then then they feel frustration and resentment towards that. But it's because we sort of, well, we've been ingrained this way, we've been programmed this way, and I say it all the time, unfortunately, and it's nobody's fault, you know, and we need to learn this, but we've been raised ignorant of the laws of the universe, or how we really operate on an energetic and a physical level. And so people still don't trust the fact that, you know, the energy has your back, or the universe has your back, and, you know, things would work out if you would stop pushing and pulling. And it comes back to the aligned action. We're so programmed to try to process the information so quickly that we don't take the time to really sit back and to only act on our highest inspirations, because we don't feel perhaps that it's going fast enough to either get that money to pay that mortgage, or to, you know, to get that job that you really want. And so people either compromise, sacrifice, or settle for less, because they don't think that they don't think that the universe is going to give it to them in the perfect timing, or you know, they can't wait, and so that's the whole process of like focusing on an ideal and then sort of letting it go and letting the energies yield themselves to what you really want. And you could really get 100% of what you really want if you focus on what you really want and give the universe the time to manifest it for you. Because sometimes, you know, perhaps you're not in that place yet where you're ready to receive, or you need to receive something else. And then we can become like children a little bit, like, I want it now. And so we push and pull things, and we manipulate, and we try to influence in order to get what we want. But we sort of have it in reverse, right? We use our force rather than using our power in order to experience the stuff that we want to experience. And so, you know, truth is aligned action. And all that's needed is, you know, understanding the underlying principles of the universe, then trusting, and, you know, maybe starting with something small, and, you know, experiencing it and reaping the benefits, and then, you know, practicing and trying a little something bigger and a little something bigger. And then, like today, you think that even the mundane things are all created by you. Like every single instance is your creation, and you're obviously like creating some stuff automatically or some stuff by default, or like subconsciously. Like, for example, I'm creating this body every second, you know, every second my body's doing something. Some cells are dying, some other are regenerating. I'm getting, you know, some new flow of oxygen and blood and digestion and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And I'm doing this automatically without me knowing. So everything is a creation. Like I finished reading this book, and the passage was so juicy, and it was on the page 279. And, you know, 279 for me are numbers that are really important. I was born on the 29th of September, so the 9th month in 1979. And so, you know, 279 are my numbers. And just that, I mean, I'm connected to the universe in every single second, right? Because there is no time and so on. But if you really just stop for a second and feel the awesomeness and the magic of everything that's happening in every single second that is meant to happen, and it's happening for you, and that you could use it to make yourself like even more joyous and have an even better journey. It's crazy wonderful.
And I brought up two things for me. One, which was the link between like truth and settling. I mean, obviously like the dissonance. And yeah, and obviously like circling back to the aligned action. And that was something that came up when you were speaking earlier for me, was this idea of settling outside of the truth, which is like what most people do and operate on. And then, and what you were just saying now, it was making me think of something that I always think about and talk about, which is that we're either always surrendering to our destiny or resisting it. And then here, destiny and truth are synonymous, because the truth that comes out, you know, as our ideal is, I believe, the destiny of which our soul already knows of, right? So that implies then that every truth and every ideal has within it, you know, the patterning of aligned action that is required for it to become manifest, because it is our destiny. And so I think, yeah, there's this push back against, well, because we've been conditioned to believe that life is backwards, right? That things, that the world of, you know, the world of results is actually the world of causes, and vice versa. But yeah, it really is about surrendering to what is already known in you about what you're destined for, which is communicated to you through your ideals and your truth, and then what it is that inspires you and lights you up in following that. So yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So it makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 And yeah, pretty much answers my question.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. But it was not something that I had really put together in that way before, that with such a clear, like, interconnection, truth, ideal, aligned action, manifestation, you know? Yeah. And that's really cool. Very special. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Is
So
any,
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
go ahead, tell me.
No, I'm just wondering if there's something else there, or
Well, that thread, I feel like it's very complete. Like,
yeah.
I see it, you know, like it's very clear. It's very clear to me. So with that thread, I think we've pretty much sealed it. I feel like it's a complete image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know, it just brought me to a little something else, which is I used to do this a lot, and I still kind of do it a little bit. You know, like I'm an information junkie, I guess, if you could say like that. I guess we've all become a little bit of information junkies.
Yeah.
And you know, Penny Pierce says it a lot. You know, we're going out, like shifting from 3D to 5D is going from the information age to the intuition age.
Yeah.
And like you just said, you know, like we finished that thread and it came full circle, and that was perfect. And you know, instead of perhaps, you know, settling down on this intuition and, you know, uh, letting ourselves experiencing it on a more maybe like feeling or tangible level, I was just like, okay, well, is there something else there? And oftentimes, you know, the universe is like, well, this is it, you know, this is your answer. And we're just like, okay, well, what's next, you know, rather than just maybe you know, milking the juices of this information and vibrating on that higher level for a while, and letting the natural flow of things coming to us again, like rather than forcing it. And so aligned sort of intuition or information, and then just, you know, settling on that. And that should, you know, And now I'm getting the picture of like, you know, like we work so hard to get up to an orgasm, and then once we have it, we're like, okay, well, what's next, you know? And rather than just basking in the sort of results and the all the nice hormones that flow, you know.
Sure. Sure. And
Yeah.
ideally also not working hard.
Or is that, yeah.
Yeah. Then just receiving instead.
Yeah. It's true that.
Yeah. 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 I love it. Yeah. But yeah, it's true. Sometimes just going back to, I think the logical and the sort of masculine operating without the feminine tends to overcomplicate the logical mind overcomplicates everything without the balance of the feminine. So yeah, in the feminine side, and it is just as simple as like it's simple, like if they're complex ideas, but when you understand them, they're very simple, and it just is what it is, and there's no need to feel the need to extract more than just like the simplicity of what's being offered, right?
Yeah.
And it's always like that. It's like we go into it with something that feels maybe complex or like ineffable or large in magnitude, and then we end up with this very simple answer from the universe as to like what it's about and how to move forward with it. And yeah, I do think it's this incessant need for more, or for something more dramatic or whatever, that hinders us from being able to just bask, like you said, or ride that vibration or gain in momentum, like in that simple thought, which brings clarity and joy and peace, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's enough, you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Speaking my language.
That's great. What an awesome conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.